Namibia and the rest of the continent are now strengthening governance architecture. Democracy and superpowers like the US have shown keen interest in that. US policy towards Africa is based on fundamental interests to promote democratic institutions and sustained economic growth. However, Dr. Geingob says the policy ought not to be implemented selectively by US administration, especially when it comes to set presidential term limits for African leaders.
And I think African leaders are starting to respect themselves. That's why the things I mentioned earlier, like if somebody comes through a coup, we don't recognize them, we Africans. So that's a sign we are giving to the world that we respect ourselves, and therefore we must also have our own narrative. Not somebody always defining how we ought to be doing, but take our narrative to we are mature enough.
The Namibian head of state reminded the US audience that African leaders are determined to improve the lives of their people and have intensified fights against corruption and other social obstacles.
Africa as a whole, in democracy, corruption is going to be reduced because democracy is an open society. You have to be accountable. People are electing you, so you have to be accountable to them. So therefore, I think as we are becoming more democratic, we will handle this question of corruption.
Democracy is still fragile in some parts of Africa, and this is worrisome for US government.
Somalia is another country where we're hoping that we can achieve some solutions. Hopefully they will have an election process in the next few weeks that will allow them to move forward politically. We're working hard to move democracy and governance forward across the continent, and we're not going to let up. And again, I think the people of South Sudan and Somalia deserve peace more than anyone.
The future of the global economy rests with and in Africa. And I don't think we're prepared for it, but I see this as one of the first opportunities to prepare and to get the next administration moving in a specific set of directions.
The Constituency for Africa Advocacy Group presented President Geingob with the African Leadership Award for promoting transparency in governance, not only in Namibia but across the continent, describing him as a Pan-Africanist.